And because then you go on, I had luck with me in places, because while I was at this other place called Lottam in Holland there, I had to take a patrol out at 5:30 in the morning, and I stopped them and I said, who spoke? And they said, well, none of us spoke, Charlie. I said, well, I heard a voice. I said, right, come on. So we marched down, and we had to go to a trench way down there, and we got in the trench. I thought, I don't know, I could hear something, and I turned round, and there's these Germans. They were following me up there, and they were up there talking, and I got in the trench, and I put 3 men facing that way and 3 of us facing this way, and then they start to come down. I must have been about 6 of them with a corporal in charge. As they got nearer, so this force of 5 carried on there, the corporal come over to me, and without a word of lie, where that jeep is, I said, halt. And he said, hello, Tommy. And he let go with his machine gun right in front of us. He hit that man, he missed me and hit these 2. But as luck would have it, I was only wounded. But of course he had his day, that was that. That's how these episodes went on like. I must tell you, I find the Dutch people very, very kind people. Because now I'm going back, when I went to Nijmegen after the airborne exam over, I had to go back to Nijmegen to get my first stripe. And when I was walking around the town one evening with a sergeant, this lady come out of the house and she says, come. So we went over, we thought we was going to talk to her. She says, come, to go indoors. So we go indoors. He says, you eat? We said, no. Sorry, we can't. You haven't got anything to eat. You can't offer us food. No, you eat. Well, those people, all they had on that plate of there to eat was boiled potatoes and boiled pears. Now that's all those people had, and they was asking us to share. There, no way. That's how I thought, how kind they are. And I always remember that. And there was 11 people in that family to feed, and they're saying us to eat as well. Well, as time gets on and the war gradually ends, doesn't it? I've had another episode where I was lucky. I was going to... we captured a German. We were standing here and he was in a trench there. Well, he was as good as dead because he didn't hear anything until the sergeant pulled out this Spandau machine gun, then took him out, and he's only just over there. So God was with me again. And the sergeant said, all right, take him back to HQ. I was just about to do that, and we heard this motorbike come, and so we thought, well, there's none of us, must be German. And there it was. They was coming to this gate while we was in the garden. So I laid the German down, and I thought, well, if anybody's going to get shot, you are, because I laid behind him with my rifle across their backs. Well, they came in, and afraid they copped it as well. They had that. And then after that, believe it or not, I was walking down the road with him as though he was out for a walk. And I go back to our HQ, and nobody wanted to take him off of me. I thought, well, I can't leave him. And because he's saying to me, Slaven, he wanted to go back to sleep. All right, get down there, I said. So he got down there, and away he was asleep. I thought, oh. So I got down, put my rifle under my belly, lay down beside of him for about an hour, and somebody woke us up, and he went back to prison camp. Now God was with me again, because I thought, well, it's nearly time that I should go back to my platoon, because they was up the other end of the road. And I was just about to go to the front door, and one of our majors just beat me to it, and so I was behind him. He wanted to go to the door and have a look, because it was getting a bit light, so he could read his map. He stepped outside, and I was standing behind him, and opposite was an orchard. There was a fire shot from there, hit his chest, fell down there. And I thought to myself, how lucky I was. If I'd have been in front of him, it would have been me. So that was luck again, wasn't it, for me? And that's how it went on. And of course then we went into Germany. There was episodes there as well, you know, and lost another 2 of my mates there as well. And we went to this battle we had to do for Kurvenheim and Winningendonk. It was a long day, because we had to go from 5:30 in the morning and go to our start line to attack this wood. And another trouble was that the artillery laid down a barrage, and then they lifted it, and then we go forward and they fire. But the trouble with the infantry, they want to get out of the open, they like the cover, because you start walking too quick and you start walking into your own barrage, don't you, and you get casualties. We had one casualty there that the sergeant was just next to me, and a piece of our own shrapnel went straight across his stomach. As luck would have it was only a bit of his stomach came out. my mate and mine, we laid him down and sort of shoved it back in and tied it up and said, you're all right, because we knew our stretcher bearers were just behind. He was all right, he did survive, but that's how it went on. You know, you couldn't stay with him, you had to go on and do what you had to do, but well, like that. And several things I had that I thought God was with me, you know, like the while I was capturing this other place after Kurvenheim, a place called Winningendonk. In the same day, we had to start this one at 6:15 in the evening. We had 1,200 yards to cross, open ground, and then there was the houses, and our objective was on the corner house where the paras were in, the Germans. They also had in the corner there 2 trenches with spandaus in and men. Well, the time come to start, so off we go, and we're going across this open ground. And the best thing was there was those 2 spandaus firing at us, the men in there firing at us, the paras that were in the house were firing at us. There was a German 88 gun in that corner, firing across. And then on top of that, they sent over mortars from the back of the town between us. I don't know how we got through there, but we did, and got to the other side. And we got into a ditch, and I laid there waiting to see what's the next thing. I was by a tree. I thought, what's that noise? I could hear a sort of a thud. Anyway, I looked round and I looked at the tree, and there was this dagger from one of the paras. The saucy man, he throwed it at me. So as luck would have it, it went in the tree. Well, not me. But I went across the road up the back of this house. There was one of our chaps in the kitchen doorway there with a Bren gun, and I was just standing inside this barn. And down the bottom they got a little door, must where their animals used to come in. It was open, and I was just standing there, and all of a sudden I said to one of them, oh, something stung my finger. And because it was getting dark, I didn't think much about it until I turned around and just happened to see that German passing, so he must have just fired at me and hit my finger. Then we did get over to the house that we supposed to get into, and the sergeant says, "Is everybody all right?" I said, "Well, look at my finger." And of course, it was up and out, wasn't it? You could see right down. Go downstairs, get it dressed. I'll go down there. There's German and British wounded down there, and over in the corner there was this place got a little bed on it and that. I'll go over there, and there's this German field doctor, and he dressed my finger. He speak English, and we was talking, having a chat. And he done that up. Then round the wall, they got these jars of fruit jar, you know, with fruit in. Took it off. He said to me, "Open your mouth," and he was feeding with these pears. Of course, what after that I don't know, because I had to go up and take up a position, you know. So what happened to, I suppose he went back to prisoner of war, but those different things that happen to you, and go on like that. And I know I haven't said everything, but these are just these bits that stick in your mind of what happened, and they often come back to you. But that was Curvenheim and Winningendonk. Of course, then we were going on, and we gradually take these other places, you know. And I can't think more of what serious that happened to me, but I know we eventually we had to help to take Bremen, but our division or our company and that had to take this airfield, and with the gun emplacements all round. Now, the others carried on. My brother was in Bremen at the time, and we did our job and come round and captured. And then, so we'd passed the airfield and come round the back. And over here was a house. I was standing there, and the sergeant said, "Has anybody been over to that house?" No? Right. You go and have a look. Of course, don't go across the airfield, do we? Go round the side for more cover. And this is the truth. We came towards this house. We could hear this screaming. Well, what do you reckon that is? We got nearer to the house, and the screaming was louder. And then the woman came out. We said, "What's that?" Oh, she said, "It's this young girl who's screaming." She was about 17 years old. And we said, "Well, what's she screaming and crying for?" Well, she said, she thought you was the Russians coming, and she thought she was going to be assaulted. That's how she was. The poor girl was. But as luck would have it, the time we left, she was calm and she was all right. But another thing was, the woman of the house, she came from London, England. She had married a German, and in 39, she tried to get back home, but she couldn't, they wouldn't allow her out. Although that was that story. So then eventually, of course, Bremen was captured, wasn't it? And that was our last battle. Then we was moved down the road to a place called Delmenhorst, and we were said, "Right, lads, you can go in what house you like," because there was German houses, weren't they? "Go in which house you like." Because we all went in this house, and our chief stretcher bearer, Red Cross, his name was Sandy, and he came in, and he said, "Lads," he says, "you're all right." He said, "The war's over." Of course, in army language, we said to him, "We don't think much of your joke." "It's no joke," he said, "the war's over." Okay.